Ready to be seduced by Lethal Ladies, Inc.
Announcing Lethal Ladies Inc., the exclusive collaboration between Crawling Eye Art and Deadites on Deck, offering the unique and horrifyingly creative side of t-shirt design, dolls and figures, jewelry, candles, blended teas, and so much more. Coming soon to a horror convention near you.
Howdy, gang, and I am back once again with another Terror Time Tea, which is going to be split between a horror movie and a non-horror movie for Thanksgiving. And I told you I was maybe going to mix it up a little bit for the upcoming Thanksgiving season. I hope you liked the all new alternate commercial. I have two commercials for Lethal Ladies Inc., which, if you didn't know, is the collaboration between Candace and I. We're going to, just on a convention level, be collaborating and combining our talents, I guess you could say, for creating some horror related merchandise for you to purchase at. Hopefully, we plan some upcoming convention soon. That's all I can say right now because I don't know when exactly will be. Because it's, you have to wait sometimes to actually be on the vendor list for these upcoming conventions because there are a lot of vendors, and I understand that. And we're a new entity right now. I mean, I have Deadites on Deck. Candace has Crawling Eye Art. And for the convention circuit, we're going to be combining our efforts into Lethal Ladies Inc. And that's just for convention stuff. She'll still be doing Crawling Eye Art. I'll still be doing Deadites on Deck. And we'll have our own respective business entities. But for the convention circuit, you have to have a collective name, hence the Lethal Ladies Inc. So you guys can still go to deaditesondeck.com and see all of the different things that I have to offer. And I'm not sure if Candace has a particular website right now where you can go. I would have to check with her. But I'm sure that is probably upcoming. And in connection with deaditesondeck.com, my horror shop, and whenever we get our feet wet getting on the convention circuit for Lethal Ladies Inc. as well, I've come up with a couple of new candle ideas. And for people that watch my videos and my streams on a regular basis, you will get to know these things first off, right? So, one of the candle ideas, I've never packaged a couple of candles together. Okay. And this is like twofold because Steve gave me an extra idea too, bless his heart. So he's getting in on it too and being creative and all that stuff. And he thought of something that I hadn't even thought of yet. But the first double pack of candles that I came up with is I was going to call it horror movie night, but Steve mentioned double features. And so I'm actually going to be calling this horror double features. Okay. So the first one is going to be a hot buttered popcorn scented candle. And a second candle in the package will be cola scented. I was actually going to offer more options for beverages, but then I thought, well, that might be a little bit too much. Let's just see how the hot buttered popcorn and the cola scented candles sell packaged together. These will be priced at $30, and people might be thinking, geez, Dana, that's pretty expensive for candles. But these are handmade. I have perfected my craft. And these things, like the Rosemary's Baby Fresh, I burned that sucker today, and it filled the whole room where I was burning it with the scent. And it's not overpowering. So for those of you that get headaches and stuff from really super strong scents, you don't particularly have to worry about it with this. Okay? Because it's not overpowering. It just fills the room where you're burning it with a nice mid-level scent. Okay? Whereas before I was a little disappointed. I'll be totally honest. I was a little bit disappointed with, and I'm drinking some of this tea, which is spearmint tea today, or tonight rather, because I haven't got to the movies yet, I know, but I wanted to talk about a few things with the shop. And I also wanted to drink my tea while it was hot. So if y'all can permit me to not drink as much of it while I'm talking about the movies, we'll get this out of the way, and then we'll start with the movies. Okay. So I simply was not getting the scent throw that I wanted. And so, I'm not going to give away my secrets because, not that I think people would copy it or anything like that, but when you perfected your craft, you kind of want to keep it under wraps. But I think I have finally got it to the level where people will really want and appreciate these candles. Okay. Because the last thing I want to do is put out substandard product, right? And I kept feeling like I was failing somewhere in the process. And I tried different combinations and things like that. And I have to credit Candace with giving me one idea. Okay. I mean, Candace has given me a lot of good ideas. But this one in particular, I'm glad I listened to her and didn't hesitate on it, right? And so I've got the right combination of materials and stuff like that I think I'm going to be putting out really good scented quality candles. Okay. And something that I could be proud to send out. Okay. So usually I sell these candles for $20 a piece. Okay. But for the double pack, instead of charging you $40, which I could have, but I thought, why do that? I'll just charge $30, and we'll kind of split the difference there. So if you're interested in buying a double pack of candles, and there's more in these double features coming soon. Okay. The the horror double feature that I'm going to do first, of course, is the hot buttered popcorn scented candle paired with a cola scented candle. Okay. So you get that, hopefully you get that experience of going to the movie theater and, smelling the hot buttered popcorn, smelling the cola from the fountain drinks and all that stuff. Okay. And you can do that. You can burn these candles at home and hopefully get a bit of that feeling of being at the movie theater when you watch your movies. Okay. So, but there's going to be other ones. And Steve helped me come up with this. He said you could call them double features or horror double features. And that got me thinking, like I could pair a Friday the 13th scented candle with a Nightmare on Elm Street scented candle or a Halloween scented candle or whatever. So look for those to be coming soon where you'll have horror double features in other scents. Okay. So, like I said, those will be $30 a piece. And I've already got the boxes picked out to put them in. There will be some special tissue paper put in there. And I'm hoping these look really, really good. And Steve's gave me some AI generated images. He's been playing around with stuff. So, I'm just loving it. I'm loving that the creativity is seeming to spread. And Steve actually helped me create this logo, this new Deadites on Deck logo. And he's also made me some Evil Dead chick ones, which I haven't even had a chance to do anything with, but I'm going to. Another new candle that's going to eventually make its way to the shop is one that Candace and her mom helped me come up with the idea, because Candace was talking about she liked the fresh, clean linen scent, or that fresh cotton scent. And she was talking about, horror behind the sheets. Her and her mom were talking about that. And they were also talking to me about, Halloween with Michael Myers, hiding in the sheets, and Pennywise on the original It miniseries hiding in the sheets before he does that awful thing to the little girl on the tricycle. Um, but I decided on Pennywise Peekaboo for the name of that particular candle. So that one's going to have a fresh linen or fresh cotton scent to it. So for those of you that really enjoy that, you will soon be able to buy a candle from me at deaditesondeck.com that will have that scent. So I've talked about 13 minutes about this stuff, but let's get to these movies, shall we? And I think I've drank all my tea. So let's set this to the side and let's go ahead and get to these movies, which I'm going to put the other part of my brand up here. Now, that's going to go away whenever I rate these movies, but I will try to remember to put it back on there, because unfortunately I can only have one overlay at a time on here. So I wish that is something, StreamYard, if you're listening, I wish that was something that you could, add, being as a lot of us that get these higher package deals are paying a pretty penny for. So I think that should be something that they add, because the logo you can only add up at the top, and this Deadites on Deck that I've got down at the bottom is what's called a lower thirds. But the only way I can get that on there, and you guys may or may not care, is to use it as an overlay. Now, if somebody knows a different way to do that during StreamYard, or using StreamYard, I'd love to hear about it. Um, just let me know if you know of a different way. So, anyway, let's get to these movies showing. Now, I do not have an actual physical, like DVD or Blu-ray copy of Home Sweet Home that I can show you. Now, I have a previous video rental. I think it's a cut box and it slid down into the plastic cover. What you used to see at the video stores, right? And I don't know where that is at the moment. So I do not have a visual right now. I probably could have gotten a visual online and I put that up there. But if y'all will permit me to not have a visual for Home Sweet Home, I would be eternally grateful to you. So let's talk about Home Sweet Home. Home Sweet Home was directed by Nettie Pena. I don't know if that's a man or a woman. I don't know anything about Nettie Pena other than they directed this movie and they directed a porn called Dracula Sucks. And Steve told me about that many moons ago. So I don't know anything about Nettie Pena. other than that. So it was also, I believe, produced by Don Edmonds and also, I think, Sandy Cobe, who Sandy Cobe has had his hands in a lot of different low budget horror projects over the years. So I think he has since passed away, but when he was alive, he had his hands in a lot of horror, low budget horror pots or honey pots or whatever you want to call them. And so this is low budget. It's not a great piece of filmmaking. It has some, I believe it has some similar music, like stingers and stuff from Terror on Tour, which I believe Sandy Cobe also had something to do with, and Sandy Cobe also acted in, right? And Sandy Cobe also acted in a bit part in Slaughter High as well. So he was like the sleazy manager of Caroline Monroe in that movie. So anyway, Jake Steinfeld, not Seinfeld, but Steinfeld with a T in there. For a long time, a lot of people thought it was Seinfeld, and there were jokes that he was like Jerry Seinfeld's brother or his cousin or something. But no, this is Jake Steinfeld, who used to do Body by Jake. I don't know if he does Body by Jake anymore or not. But Steve would tell me he called your ass your Battissimo, and he, when he used to do the Body by Jake stuff. So, that's the only thing other than this movie that I knew Jake Steinfeld from. So he plays this crazy guy that I don't think he has any relation to the Bradley family in this film. He just, he's a crazy guy that breaks out of the mental hospital and wants to kill as many people as he can, and he thinks blood is funny. He does. He thinks killing people is funny. Which, as you watch Jake Steinfeld in this movie, it is entertaining in an over the top, crazy sort of way. But my takeaway from it after watching Jake Steinfeld act in this movie was that I'm glad, I don't know if he was in any other movies, but if he wasn't, I'm eternally grateful that he wasn't in any other movies because he's not a really good actor. But there really aren't any good actors or actresses in this film. And you may be thinking, well, what, Dana, why are you even talking about this movie? Well, because of the outrageousness of it and the badness of it. Those things make it entertaining, okay? Which is why I can't understand why people don't like Terror on Tour, because I think Terror on Tour is better than this movie. But I do find this movie entertaining enough that I watch it usually every Thanksgiving or around every Thanksgiving now as one of my horror selections, right? And I liked it enough that me and Steve did a commentary for it a while back. So, so you have Jake Steinfeld's character. He breaks out of the mental hospital. He kills this guy after this guy says, "You want a beer?" And he kills that guy, steals his car, runs over a grandma with a walker crossing the street, and laughs at the blood that splatters everywhere. Then somehow he makes it to the Bradleys where they're having Thanksgiving dinner. And this is the most mismatched group of people that I've ever seen in my life. Don Edmonds plays the patriarch of, of the Bradley family. And I cannot, for the life of me, and I've seen this movie several times, figure out how all these people are connected. I think Don Edmonds' character and one of the other guys are brothers, and then the brother has a woman that should not be singing, but she is. She's very joyful and stuff. You have this kid dressed as a mime playing guitar, and he's got his amp on his back, and he's always aggravating everybody. I don't know how he fits in, but they call him the Mistake. That's the only name he has, is the Mistake. And Steve always says they probably decided that this is a mistake when they added this character to the movie. I don't know if that's true or not, but he is affectionately referred to as the Mistake in this film. And you may be thinking, if you've never seen this film, you may be thinking, Dana, this is too crazy to be an actual film. I kid you not, this is an actual film. Okay. So Jake Steinfeld, he ends up like pulling into this extremely long driveway, I guess, up to the Bradley's house. He stops off at this little, I don't know, this little shack or whatever, and he finds a hose and he sprays the water off, or sprays the blood off the windshield where he killed the grandma with the walker. And eventually he makes it up to the house where he starts killing people with the Bradleys. Okay. And I mean, that's the basic storyline. It never gets any more complicated than that. Okay. But again, I find this movie infinitely entertaining. I think in spite of it being bad, or maybe because of it being bad. It's one of those movies again where if you get a bunch of friends together so you can sit and make fun of it, it's perfect for that. It's perfect to do a commentary over and laugh. It'd be perfect to watch in your friend's basement where everybody's just hanging out, and you put this on, everybody's like, what the hell? What is this? So definitely a fun movie to watch. It's definitely in the category of so bad it's good. Okay. And I will rate it. I'm not going to rate it very high because it is a very bad movie. But I'm going to give it a 3.5, or 3 to 3.5 deadites out of 5. Okay. And yes, I don't have the half yet. I know. All right. So that is Home Sweet Home. And the next one is not a horror movie. It is a comedy / drama, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, with Steve Martin and John Candy. I fell absolutely head over heels in love with this movie. I was enchanted by this movie. I got emotional during this movie the first time I watched it. And I still get emotional sometimes when I watch it towards the end. But I don't want to give it away because I think it's a big part of what makes this movie work. So some of you may have already heard me talk about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and that's okay. You can feel free to tune me out if you say, dang, you're talking about the same old movies over and over again. But that's okay. We can't always talk about brand new movies, okay? And I did want to cover as many of the Thanksgiving films I could, horror and non-horror, in these Terror Time Teas leading up to Thanksgiving, okay? So this is indeed a Thanksgiving film. So we have Steve Martin playing Neil Page. He's I guess, an ad exec, marketing type guy. And he lives in Chicago because this is a John Hughes film. He lives in Chicago with his wife and kids, but he must commute by airplane to New York for his job. And I don't know what the time would be when you would have to travel from New York to Chicago and back and forth. Uh, what the time frame would be to get home if you were coming from New York and going to Chicago. It may say in the movie, but I can't recall. So, he's late getting to the airport, and he manages to get on a plane, and he ends up talking to Dale Griffith, who is John Candy's character. And they actually meet up in the airport while they're waiting to board the airplane. And Neil realizes that Dale is the guy that stowed his taxi, because he had been trying to get a taxi to get to the airport, and Dale did not notice that, that Neil had just paid a guy several $100s in order to take his taxi. So, at first, Dale is a serious fly in the ointment for Neil. He does not like Dale. He thinks Dale is annoying. They end up sharing a hotel room together because it's a series of mishaps with both Dale and Neil trying to get back home for Thanksgiving. Okay. And they end up, as much as Neil wants to get away from Dale in the beginning, they just keep coming back together. The circumstances keep throwing them back together over and over again. And it's also the story of an unlikely friendship, a friendship that really shouldn't have happened between these two people, but it does, and becomes a deeper friendship over the time frame of this movie, which is 92 minutes. Which realistically, that probably would not happen. Okay. But for the purposes of this lovely John Hughes movie, it does. And it really pulls at your heartstrings, and it tickles your funny bone, and excuse me, and does everything in between. It is, in my eyes, one of those near perfect movies that I just absolutely love and adore. And I've always loved and adored John Candy, and I liked Steve Martin, but after seeing him in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I also love and adore Steve Martin. And John Candy will truly be a comic genius that will be missed for years and years and years to come. And the rest of the cast rounds out this beautifully. John Hughes' direction is fantastic. God rest his soul. John Hughes is no longer with us either. So, and John Hughes was one of those directors and writers that comes around once in a lifetime. I mean, there are other directors and writers and actors and actresses that are like that too. And I'm not saying they're the only ones, but these kind of people only come around once in a lifetime. So you have to enjoy them while they're here. They're like a star in the sky that shines brighter than any of the other stars. If that makes any sense. Um, so um, I I urge you, if you've never seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, or if it's been a super long time since you've seen it, pull this sucker out, find a for free version, watch this for your Thanksgiving season. I don't think anybody will regret it. And if you do, you can blame me, but I just don't think you're going to regret it. So I am going to give Planes, Trains, and Automobiles my highest rating, which is 5 deadites out of 5. And it deserves every one of those deadites, folks. It deserves every single one of them. Okay, so I've been on here a total of about 31 minutes. I also wanted to remind you guys and gals, if you did notice, there was no Friday Foolish today due to Candace was very, very busy today And it just didn't work out for us to be able to do Friday Foolish today. And so I have pushed Friday Foolish to next Friday, where we will be talking about favorite horror authors other than Stephen King. Okay, so you guys and gals can look forward to that next Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Got a couple of watch alongs coming up this weekend. One will be for Eli Ross Thanksgiving. That was Dakota's pick. He gave a super chat and he was the only one. And so he got the sole pick for Saturday. That will be Eli Ross Thanksgiving at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. Menelect gave a $10 super chat. He was the only one that gave that super chat during that particular stream. And so he got Sunday's pick for The Tunnel from 2011, a found footage horror movie from Australia, I believe. And you can watch that on Tubi in case you want to watch along. And that will also be at 7 p.m. Eastern Time just on Sunday. So we've got two great watch alongs coming up. And stay tuned for your chance to throw your choices in the ring, throw your hat in the ring to pick some of the next watch alongs that I do. I'm trying to give back to you guys, and we both get something in the process. So, for as little as $5 during one of my live streams, and that includes the watch alongs. Okay, the videos, no, but the watch alongs, if you give a super chat of $5 or more, you get your chance to pick one of the upcoming watch along films that I do. So, excuse me. With all that being said, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do, but before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Friday, folks. And let's get into the weekend. It's about time for it. And I'll see everybody next time.